What is happening, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Fresh Hope for a Better You podcast. I am your host, as always, Oliver Goulet, and I am just truly grateful. I am grateful for today. I'm grateful for the opportunity that the Lord has placed in front of me, along with the universe, to be able to better myself and the people around me. That is something I tell myself every single day because it is truly a blessing to be able to have, the opportunity with all these amazing platforms and stuff to share my thoughts and things that have helped me along my journey in life. And with this being a self-development podcast, I want to really dive into a topic today that has helped me move my life a tremendous amount in the right direction. And if I didn't have this in my life, I wouldn't be here talking to you guys today because I wouldn't have anything to talk about, because I wouldn't have done very many things in my life. I wouldn't have changed my life and done a complete 180 to go from a fat, overweight drug addict to someone that impacts people's lives on a daily basis, helps people with fitness and nutrition, that's an entrepreneur working in the cannabis industry, and a bunch of other amazing things that I'm trying to accomplish right now, currently, and all the stuff I'm going to accomplish in my future. So today's topic is all about discipline. Because without discipline, you truly don't have anything. And we're taught growing up that, when you get disciplined, it's a bad thing. But in all reality, discipline is something that every single person on the face of this earth needs. Because without discipline, you're really not going to ever achieve anything. You need to be disciplined, because no matter what, at the end of the day, if you're not disciplined, you're not going to continue to work towards what you want to achieve in life. And people are always asking me, Oliver, how do you stay so motivated? How do you, force yourself to do all these things? And it's like, I'm not motivated majority of the time. Yes, there is like sporadic events where, I am super motivated because something's new, interesting. But most of the time, I am very unmotivated. And if it wasn't for my discipline, I would be a fat, lazy piece of shit. There's no way around it. I would not get up at 5 a.m. I would not go through my morning routine. I wouldn't sit there journaling, meditating, reading, entrepreneurship books, self-development books, always learning, which is one of my core values, is always be learning. I wouldn't be doing these things if I hadn't built up the discipline over time. And the main thing that's helped me along my journey of self-development to build discipline is 75 Hard. That program has truly changed my life. I've given, all the credibility to that program for helping me change my life. And many people have done it and it's changed their life too. So that's something you're interested in. That is how I built discipline, and it's taught me ways to build discipline. Discipline is very simple, but yet it's hard because you don't want to do things consistently enough. And yes, it's going to suck. Like, there are days I don't want to get out of bed and I simply don't want to go through my morning routine. I don't want to go outside and walk, whether it's cold, rainy, whatever, or do my cardio. But guess what? I force myself to do it because that's stacking a daily win, and that's building discipline, because you can't let the conditions in life dictate what you do. Because if you do that, you will never get anything, because truly conditions won't ever be perfect. People are always waiting for the perfect time to start this, and this. And guess what? The perfect time to start something is simply now. Doing it now compared to waiting, you're going to be that much more ahead, because so many people I've talked to with, coaching and nutrition, they're like, oh, I have this event coming up in 40 days. This is an example that someone just talked to me about, is I have this coming up in 40 days. So I don't want to wait. I want to wait to start, working on my health and nutrition until after that. But it's like, you could be 40 days ahead if you just started today working on that and developing the discipline and, routines and stuff like that. That way, when you go on, vacation, you can still stay on track with whatever your goals may be in life, as long as you have that discipline. Like, when I go on vacation, people always ask me, like, dude, why do you wake up and do the same routine and, read, you journal, you write, you get up at the same time consistently? Like, why do you do that? And it's like, because I've built so much discipline in my life that I know that if I continue to run the game plan that I'm running, I will be able to get to where I want to go with my life. And if I start slacking in one area and saying, oh, I don't need to do this, what other areas of my life am I going to say that to? Because if I skip my morning cardio just because it's cold outside, what other thing am I going to look at? This is tough. I'm not going to do this. It just has a compounding effect, which is why, like, the 75 Hard program teaches you this no compromise mindset. Like, if you compromise on one thing, you're going to compromise on other things. That's why it's strict. 75 days, 2 workouts a day, 1 outside, drinking a gallon of water, reading 10 pages of self-development and entrepreneurship book, all these things that you have to do on a daily basis. And if you skip one, you're supposed to start over. Some people, they do 75 hard, but they really don't, because you can truly tell after someone's done 75 hard if they followed it and did the program correctly, because it truly will change your life. And many people, they fake their way through it, but you cannot, if you're lying to yourself, who else? Like, you can't just lie to yourself, because you have this feeling inside that will stay with you forever. If you lie to yourself, how are you ever going to believe in yourself? And that's the number one thing in life. Like, if you don't believe in yourself, who else will? You have to believe in yourself. And the best way to do that is believing in yourself is start developing discipline, doing things consistently over time, and building discipline and having your non-negotiables. Like, one of my non-negotiables is simply I have to have some kind of movement every single day, exercise, something, because not only are we meant to move every single day, like the hunter and gatherers. They didn't sit behind a computer screen all day long and not do anything like a lot of people do, especially here in America. We are supposed to be moving, and that is something that I hold true and true, because I know when I was, fat and lazy and stuff like that, the last thing I thought about every day was, should I go for a run? Should I go run 4 miles? Should I go do CrossFit? No, I wasn't thinking about that. But now it's like I crave that because of my addictive personality. I love something. I love how it makes me feel. I love how it makes me feel physically, mentally, emotionally. And I crave that every single day. And it just makes my day that much better. So I'm able to, continue to pour out and help other people, because that's what fills my cup, is exercising, eating better, leading by example, helping other people is what fills my cup. So that's why I do it on a consistent basis. And I'm super disciplined when it comes to my workouts, my eating, my routines and stuff like that, because the more disciplined you are, the more freedom you have in life. So something I want to dive into is my creed. This is something that, everyone's kind of got their own creed. If you don't, I definitely recommend you, developing and writing out your own creed and reading that to yourself every day, because that holds a standard for yourself. And my creed is, every day I'm given the opportunity to better myself and those around me. The only thing I deserve is the reactions from the actions I take. It is my obligation to be the standard through discipline, hard work, and selflessness. I will continue to push forward until my purpose of providing fresh hope to the world is accomplished. And discipline is part of my creed, because I know that the more disciplined I am in my everyday actions is going to make it all worthwhile, and I'm going to be able to continue to move in the right direction. Yes, I'm going to struggle still no matter what, but if I'm disciplined on the standards that I have, I will continue to rise and grow as a person. And I've seen that exponentially, especially over the past 3 years of my life, and especially over the past year of my life, when I've really just dialed in my discipline, really making things happen. Like, I just finished up my 3rd round of 75 hard last week. It was actually technically 125 days straight of 2 workouts a day, a gallon of water, 10 pages of reading, a self-development book, the working out outside and all that stuff. The only thing I missed was on day 49 was because of a progress picture, because I was traveling. I went on vacation to Utah to go snowboarding, and I forgot my progress picture and I failed. Yes, I could have just taken a picture and, just been like, whatever, I'm going to keep going. I'm 49 days in. No one has to know. But deep down, I would have known, and I wouldn't be able to live with myself because of my standard. And if I can't be honest with myself, like I was talking about earlier, who can you be honest with if you can't even be honest with yourself? If you can't look yourself in the mirror and hold yourself accountable, then you really are going to struggle with life. Everyone's going to struggle, but you're going to struggle way more if you continue to lie to yourself. And going back, when I was on vacation, I was still doing my daily routines. I was working still when I had the time and stuff like that. While I was still going out and doing stuff, I was still doing 2 workouts a day on top of snowboarding for 4 to 8 hours every single day. And yes, it was very hard on my body, but guess what? I had to hold myself accountable and I had to do the things that I have to do on a daily basis. So, another topic I want to dive into is stoicism, because stoicism is all about the power of self-control, and that comes down to a lot of it being about discipline. And Marcus and Antonius, two ancient Greek philosophers, found success in self-discipline. And us as people nowadays, we can find our own success and destiny within self-discipline, because the more disciplined you are, the more freedom you truly have in life. Discipline, self-discipline, has never been about punishment or deprivation. It is about becoming the absolute best version of yourself that you are truly capable of becoming. And it's really all it is about. Is more people, they don't need motivation, they need discipline. And the number one way you can start building discipline is holding, yourself accountable. Start doing things every single day and you will become disciplined in that area. And one thing that's helped me out a tremendous amount is a power list. Power list is a significant tool. I basically look at it like my Bible. I have 5 critical tasks I have to do every day, and things that, they don't have to be crazy things. It can literally be, reading 10 pages. It can be going for a 30-minute walk. Everyone's power list can be different. So if you don't have a power list, I highly recommend it, and start off with small things, stacking those daily wins. And the more daily wins you have, the better you're going to feel about yourself. And it's really cool that I can look back. I've started doing a power list over 3 years ago. I can look back to an exact date and see what exactly I was doing to move myself closer to what my goals were at the time. And over the past 3 years, it's changed a substantial amount, because it started really small with, reading 10 pages, making my bed every morning, drinking a gallon of water, doing one workout, all these little things. And now it's to the point where it's like, wow, I've built up so much discipline. I walk by a piece of trash, I pick it up, because, that's, putting, a little deposit into my discipline. Yeah, I see something that needs to get done, I do it, because my discipline. I've created such a high standard for myself by just developing these little disciplines in all these little areas that have helped me out a tremendous amount. There's a reason I can, approach just about anyone. I can approach anyone. And guess what? If I make a fool of myself, it is what it is, because I'm so disciplined. I hold my head high. I've proven to myself time and time again that I have, confidence, and I built it up over time to the point where I am confident enough that I know that if I continue to build discipline within myself, that I truly will be able to achieve whatever I want out of life. And it's only the hardest thing for me is figuring out exactly what I want. And it changes. And it has over the past few years, a couple different times. It started with, I just want to make a substantial amount of money. I want to just kill it in business, to now it's, I want to make a substantial amount of money, but I want to change people's lives. I want to make this world a better place. I want to provide this world with fresh hope, because there's always a time and a place where you can start changing your life. And that day could be today, by simply starting to practice some stuff within discipline within yourself. And something for me, especially because I have an eating disorder, I have a binge eating disorder, for all you guys that don't know this. I could literally sit down and consume 10,000 calories in a sitting if I didn't, practice my discipline. And sometimes it gets to me still. Even after doing all the 75 hard and stuff, I still struggle with that binge eating disorder. And it was something I was fighting for the longest time. And now I just really don't give it the time of day, because the more you focus on something, the worse off it's going to be. Alex Hormozy was actually talking about that on one of his podcasts that I was listening to. Is like, yes, the more you focus on something, the bigger of a problem it is going to be. And if you just, push it to the side and try not focusing on it, over time, it's just going to, end up working itself out. So I've just really not given that, my attention and stuff. I was struggling with it for the longest time, and now it's like, it is what it is. But if I just continue to run the game plan, stay in my routines, I can avoid doing that. But it's always going to be part of who I am. I'm always going to be deep down that fat, loving kid that just loves food. It has I love to eat. I can eat all day long. I also emotionally eat. I stress eat, all that stuff. But with instilling all of this discipline within my life, I've actually proven myself that I don't need to do that. And it's all the power of the mindset, the power of self-control, which is what Stoicism is all about. Stoicism talks about the discipline of perception, how we see and perceive what is around us, the discipline of action, the decisions Stoicism talks about the three disciplines: the discipline of perception, how we see and perceive around us; the discipline of action, the decisions and actions we take; the discipline of will, how we deal with the things that change, attain clear and convincing judgment; and the understanding of our place in the world. So let's dive into the discipline of perception. Back when I was growing up, I really looked at the world a lot differently. I looked at it as like, oh, there's a lot of nice people out there. The government wants to work with us and help us out to the best of our ability. People are always looking out for us. But that's not the truth. You really got to be careful on who you trust, who you let into your circle, and, where you're getting your information and news from, because the world is a very, very cruel and unjust place, especially right now in America. You have to be really, really careful on where you're getting your facts and information from, because the media and stuff like that, they do not want what's best for us. They want to control us. They want to run their agenda. So we have to perceive things differently and look at them from different perspectives. And this is something that I've still practiced and trying to learn and figure out. But I've gotten to a point where I can really look at things and be like, yeah, that's not right. That's not how you should be living. That is not what we need to be doing as a community, as a country, and as people of this earth that are actually meant to help one another. And they're trying to divide us. And if we look at it as if, I'm different than this person because of their race, because of their gender, or their views, that's not how it's supposed to be. We're all supposed to live in peace. We can have our disagreements. We can agree to disagree about things. Yes, everyone's going to have their own opinion, and you're entitled to that, especially here in America. You are allowed to have your own opinion and views, and you should be able to agree to disagree with someone about your views and move forward and live cordially with one another and not have an issue. Just because someone thinks differently than you doesn't make them wrong, doesn't make them a bad person. They just might have had a different upbringing. They might have, grown up around a different situation than you. So they look at life a little bit differently. And the way I was raised, I'm not going to lie, I was raised very, very right. And I do look at the world, as a good place. I don't look at people based on the color of their skin. I don't look on them because of their religion or anything, to be honest. I'm a human being. You're a human being. We can live peacefully and we can learn from one another. And that's something that's really helped me out throughout my self-development journey and my life. So the discipline of action, you are given a choice every single day to make your own decisions and do what you want to do. And it's been a tremendous help to me to actually just, be disciplined. If I tell myself I'm going to do something, I'm going to do something. I'm going to take action. I'm going to make it happen. And once you start deciding that, you are in control of your life and start taking action towards moving towards the things that you want to achieve in life, it makes it that much better and that much easier, to work towards your goals. You just have to be disciplined about it. It's going to take time. If you want to achieve something great, it's going to take time, and it's going to take a lot of discipline, because there's going to be days where you aren't motivated. Majority of the time, you won't be motivated, where you have to master the mundane to get to the point where you reach that success, where you achieve that goal that you have. Because if you don't have the discipline to get there, you will run out of motivation and you will not follow through with it. And that is why practicing the little daily discipline things to hold yourself accountable and making sure you're following through on a consistent basis, because otherwise you will never get to where you want to go. You will come up short. You will quit early and you will start cutting corners. And the only way to get somewhere is not by cutting corners. It's simply to put your head down, do the work that it's going to require, and following through with it consistently on a daily basis. And that is what's true going to get you to where you want to go with your life. The last discipline of the three is the discipline of will, how we deal with the things that change. We live in a world where things are always changing. We're always going to be dealing with different changes in our life. The universe, God, is going to throw things at you that you're not necessarily going to be prepared for. But how you deal with it is going to dictate the outcome of the situation. If you can control your thoughts, you can control your emotions. You control your emotions, you can control your actions. You control your actions, you can control your outcome. That is a quote from Tim Grover. And that is so true, because if you control your thoughts, you can control your emotions. You control your emotions, You control the actions you take. You control the actions you take. You can control the outcome of the situation. And that comes down to just simply being able to be in control of yourself. So many people let all the outside influences and stuff like that really control what they do. And I used to personally allow this to happen to me in my life. And that's why I ended up going to a college and going into debt for a degree, trying to get a degree that I didn't even know what the hell I wanted to do, because I was listening to all these outside influences, because I never truly took the time to figure out who I was and what I wanted to do. And it's super hard to do nowadays, especially when you're a young kid and you have all these different things pulling you in different directions. But at the same time, you really got to, figure out who you are deep down. And if you sit with yourself long enough and ask yourself the questions, who am I? What do I want to do? Enough times, it will come to you. It took me a while to do it, but over time, it does come to you. You start thinking about the things you like to do. You want to think more about the things you like to do, and you want to do those things. And guess what? If you want to do those things, you got to follow through with it and actually do them on a consistent basis in order to get to where you want to go, and not let all these other external influences come in and tell you what you need to do and all this stuff. Unless it's a peer that you look up to, that you know that they have something that you want out of your life, you probably shouldn't listen to them. That's like taking advice from a broke financial advisor. Would you take financial advice from a broke person? No. Would you take nutrition and health advice from a fat, overweight slob? No. Why would you take advice from someone that doesn't have what you want? It's very simple, but yet so many people are taking all the wrong advice, and it's out there. All the information you could ever want this day and age is out there through the internet, which is truly a blessing. We have so much opportunity right now. It's just you have to look in the right places for the right opportunities and information. And people are just simply lazy. And that is why, discipline comes in, because if it wasn't for discipline, I'd be lazy as shit. I wouldn't want to do the things that I do on a daily basis without building the discipline within myself. And so many other people, I look at them and it's like, yeah, I can just tell you have no discipline. And like every time for example, last night, I had someone approach me and they go, "Hey, were you in the military?" And I was like, "No, but I do get that very often." And I basically hold myself to a standard with discipline that most people in the military do, because I try to be very disciplined, because it serves me every single day. And it allows me to attack the day and accomplish truly great things. Something I used to struggle with is being a procrastinator. I used to wait until the dead last minute to do something, even if it was really important, especially during school and stuff like that. I was a very big procrastinator, which honestly led to a lot of anxiety, stress, and a lot of other things that did not help me by any means. And when I started to develop discipline within myself, I realized if I just do the hard shit first, the rest of the day gets a lot easier, because I don't have to worry about, doing the really hard shit. Then I can really focus on like the other little things that don't necessarily mean as much, as long as I'm executing on the 5 things that I have to do every single day. And I always do the hardest things first. Something I really used to struggle with before I actually started using a power list was procrastinating. I had a lot going on with running a business and, trying to do all these crazy things and stuff, like learning on the fly, being an entrepreneur, until I found the power list and actually really started, executing on a daily basis. Is really when things started to change, because I realized, if I execute on these 5 things that are the most important, I do the hardest ones first, it makes it a hell of a lot easier. And one thing that's also helped with that is in the morning, after I'm done with my cardio, is taking a cold shower, because it'd be nice to just take a nice, warm, hot shower, but it's hard to put yourself under cold, freezing water. It shocks your body, and there's a tremendous amount of other health benefits behind cold showers. It's actually almost comparable to doing cocaine with the dopamine spike, except for it's prolonged without any negative side effects, which is something I'll dive into in another episode about that when I go into health and nutrition and stuff like that, and biohacking. But doing the hard shit first really sets you up for success later down the road, especially during the day. Because if you just tackle all the hard shit right away in the morning instead of procrastinating till, right till the last minute, that leads to a lot less stress, depression, anxiety, and all the shit that's going to take away from you really attacking your day on a daily basis. So basically doing what's hard now so that things get easier later. And this simply starts with like your day to day. If you do the hardship first, it gets easier later on. So that makes it a hell of a lot easier to stay on track, get stuff done on a daily basis, and building the habits and routines that allow you to do so, which is why I'm all about habits and routines, because those are what's going to help you fill the gaps in the day. I know I've dove a lot into Stoicism because that's my main practice. I read it every day and I practice Stoicism. It's helped me change my life. But Stoicism is also in the Bible. I want to share a quote from the Bible, Hebrews 12-11. No discipline seems pleasant at the time, but painful later on. However, it produces a harvest of righteousness and peace for those who have been trained by it. No discipline at the time really seems great, to be honest. It kind of stinks, when you're first starting to be disciplined about things and having to say no to things, but you're also saying yes to another when you're saying no to other things. And it's something that's really helped me out, is because if I go through the pain and struggle right now, it's going to be that much more rewarding and fulfilling later down the road. And if you could continue to train your mind to develop this outlook and mindset, it's really going to help you in every area of your life. Because yes, discipline isn't that pleasant sometimes, but the more you do it, the more pleasant it gets, because it's like, yeah, I do that for me. I hold myself to the standard and I'm not going to compromise on it, because I want to, reach this goal. I want to get to this position. I want to, help my family and be better and more present for my family. I want to be a better father. I want to be a better husband and all these things. If you continue to instill discipline, it's going to make a crazy difference in your life. And I can promise you that, because most people, they lack discipline. And there's a reason your life looks the way it is. It's probably because you lack discipline within yourself. And I promise you, once you start working on that discipline, your life will truly change, because I'm an example of what discipline can do for you. I literally went from being an overweight, obese, drug addict to someone who now changes people's lives on a daily basis, and who is someone that works for himself. I don't have to answer to nobody. And that's only because of discipline. And something funny, my father, he was like, yeah, honestly, I don't know how you do it. I have to be able to, have my day set up. I have to go in and I have to have something holding me accountable. And it's like, yeah, it's tough for people. That's why most people don't run their own companies. That's why most people aren't self-employed or entrepreneurs. It's because they need structure. And guess what? Yeah, I have a ton of structure, but I set up my structure for myself. And so many people are so lazy. I'm sorry, but yeah, Pops, that's a little laziness right there. You could do it, but you didn't want to do it. And it's very simple. Yes, I would not be where I'm at today if I didn't have structure and discipline, because I don't have someone waking me up in the morning. I don't have a boss barking at me, telling me to do X, Y, Z. I have to tell myself to do X, Y, Z, and I have to follow through and do X, Y, Z. Otherwise, I would be broke and I wouldn't have a house and I would be living down the street and I would probably have to go work at McDonald's. So guess what? I'm not going to do that. I'm going to follow through with the actions. I'm going to discipline myself. I'm going to structure my day. I got to do X, Y, Z. I'm going to do X, Y, Z. And that comes down to discipline. Because if I wasn't disciplined, I'd maybe do X and, maybe Z, skip Y. But then it's like, okay, maybe Y was that missing link to get me to where I want to go. If I skip one thing, what's going to stop me from, skipping X tomorrow and doing Y and Z? No, do X, Y, Z, and this is going to be the outcome. Simple as that. And that's why I do it every single day. So basically, what it comes down to, if you want to be successful in anything in life, any area of your life, you have to have discipline. If you truly want to, create something, build something, or even just work towards becoming the best version of yourself, you're going to have to start instilling some sort of discipline into your life, because otherwise you're just going to keep battling. You're going to, keep going, riding the highs and then motivated, then downs, riding the highs, motivated, down. Wouldn't you rather have a steady increase over time than just these ramp ups and then drop off and set yourself back up? That's why most people that lose a substantial amount of weight, they put it back on within 3 years. It's like 70% of people that lose a substantial amount of weight end up putting it back on within 3 years and more, because they aren't building the lifestyle. They're doing it just to lose weight, but if you're someone that gets to that point, you have to create your lifestyle to the point where you're never going to go back. You're going to always be eating healthier. You want to make that switch because you know where that lifestyle got you from before. And that comes down to just discipline. And before I sign off here, I want to leave you guys with a quote. It's actually Proverbs 12-1. Whoever loves discipline loves knowledge, but he who hates correction is stupid. And that's very simple because I've learned that I love discipline, and I also love to learn and grow and, be able to become a better person than I was yesterday. But if you hate to be corrected when you're in the wrong, you're just stupid. And so many people think that they're always right, but you have to have the perspective and mindset to know that, in order to grow, you have to learn. And there's more than likely someone out there that knows a lot more about a certain thing than you. And if they correct you, you need to realize that, you are wrong and learn from it. It's very simple. So that's all I got for you guys today. I want to say thank you once again for tuning in to the Fresh Hope for Better You podcast. It's my mission in life is to provide millions of people with value, inspire others to change their life through self-development, and honestly, to help this world become better, because we are living in a struggling world right now where we are so divided as a country here in the United States, and we need to all work together in order to become something truly great again. And we are an amazing group of people here in America, and we need to, unite instead of divide, and we need to not be at each other's throats. And the only way, it starts with personal excellence and becoming the best version of yourself. And I want to help millions of people do that. And the only way I'm going to be able to do that is by you guys sharing the show and helping other people. And it all comes down to you at the end of the day, holding yourself to a standard, developing discipline within yourself, and truly trying to be the change in the world. So go out today, be the change, start instilling discipline into your life, and make sure you guys share the show with a friend, because I know that it could inspire and help many people, and hopefully that they can continue to work towards becoming a better version of themselves. Happy Monday, everyone. Go out and make it a great day, and I will talk to you guys soon.